everybody! I thought since it's been a year since I've been doing the raw meaty bone diet for the dogs that I'd do another video of how to cut a chicken quarter because I'm much better at it and it goes fast and I have a pretty good system set up that you can take a look at and use as an example of how to do your own. So I've put out a bunch of tubs. I have Trooper's tubs over here, which I have to use a certain shape to keep it straight once it's in the freezer. And then Sydney's tubs are over here and they don't quite have livers in them yet. You can put livers in at the end or at the beginning or not at all. It all depends on your preference. Some resources say if you just give a big meal of only liver once a week, then you don't have to do it every day. But I know the dogs love it and it's easy to just incorporate about 2 ounces a day and then reduce their daily meat allowance by 2 ounces and then it kind of works out. So this is my big box of chicken quarters. I go to the butcher and I get this. It's 40 pounds. It costs me about $23. It's an incredible deal. And basically what I'm going to do, some of these are a little cold, is pull one out, first take a look at it, and I go, I immediately can identify the unnecessary chunks of just straight fat, and I don't give that to the dogs. I don't think it's necessary. And then what I'm left with is a nice cut of meat. With the dogs, the way they're currently allocated meat, I usually can get this can usually feed 1.5 meals, kind of, or not quite one for each dog. So what I'm going to first do is turn on the scale, and since I'm covered in slime, I usually use the back of my hand, and then thoroughly disinfect at the end. There we go. One thing you have to know, Trooper goes ballistic when this makes a beep sound because it sounds like the electric fence. It sounds pretty reasonable. So I'm going to pull it off as soon as I weigh it, just so you're not going to be able to really see what it comes out to be. Take the piece of meat. This is really the line you're going for, right between the drumstick and the rest of the cut. I hold in my left hand because I'm right-handed. Just drive this in. I go around a little bit because there's some tendons in there. Grab it, break it in half. If you're lucky, it'll come right out of the socket. Sometimes, though, it just breaks right there. It's not a big deal. This is probably Sydney's amount, which is 10 ounces. Oh, nope, 14.0. So that actually is for neither dog. I'll have to skim some off of that. And that's 8.6. So Trooper gets 13.5. Cut a little bit of the meat off here where it's easiest to hold on to. Easy is relative. Weigh it again. We're at 13.2. Good enough. This is Trooper's side. So I'm going to stick it in there and jam it down in there, and it usually works out. So I'll show you that cut one more time. Here's a piece of fat that I don't like. There's the meat, looks good. I'm gonna hold on to the drumstick. Just cut it in, rotate it around. If you don't do it around, I'll show you what happens on the next one. Break it open. It came out nice and clean. Cut it off carefully. This feels a little heavy. I don't think this is gonna go for either dog. Yeah, it's way too heavy. 12.5. So I'm gonna add this I cut off from the other one. 12.8, not quite good enough. I'm going to take a nice chunk off of this one, throw it on there. 14, take off this little one. 13.5, perfect, there's another Trooper. And then I might try this and see if it's either of them. 14.5, drop that meat off. Not quite right, so I might cut it again. And really, it depends on, you might not do all this. You might just say, whatever I get is fine, and I'll know that if this is way too heavy, the next one's going to be way too light. But I kind of like it to be evened out because I know the dogs are fairly particular, being Australian Shepherds, they're a little bit type A. So if they don't get enough to eat tonight, they act very, very hungry in the morning, even though they probably aren't that hungry. So that's 13.5, that's perfect for Trooper. And so there we go. And now I'll show you one more with what happens. Ooh, this feels like a good weight. A little heavy. If you don't cut all the way around. If you just cut down and you don't slice around, when you go to rip it, sometimes that actually was very clean and pretty, but it sometimes won't do that very nicely for you. And instead, as you're getting tense and you're like, yeah, and you finally get it to pop open, what happens is you splurt chicken juice and parts all over your counter, and it's not desirable. I mean, obviously I'm gonna have to disinfect here after I'm done, but the cleaner you can do this, usually the less stressful it'll be, and it becomes very quick and easy once you just know where to cut. You just do it, keep going, and that's it. So I'll be at this probably for another hour. I've got a total of 80 pounds to cut up, and I'll just throw it all in the freezer, and I'm done for a good month and a half. Thanks for watching.